On November 4th, the Catholic Church honors St. Charles Borromeo, Bishop of Milan, church reformer and evangelical minister. Born at Arona on October 2, 1538, into a noble Lombard family closely connected to the Medici, Charles could easily have had a life of privilege. Instead, he chose to serve the Lord. At 21, he was appointed cardinal deacon by his uncle, Pope Pius IV. A few years later, in 1564, he took leadership of the Archdiocese of Milan and assumed full episcopal residence by 1566. The church in that era was shaken by the Protestant Reformation, clerical abuses, and the need for renewal. Charles Borromeo dedicated himself to implementing the decrees of the Council of Trent, 1545 to 1563. Through personal austerity, pastoral closeness, and willingness to serve the poor, he led the renewal of the archdiocese. He established seminaries to properly form priests, undertook extensive pastoral visits of parishes, reorganized charitable institutions, cared for plague victims in Milan, 1576 to 1577, and championed the liturgy and catechesis as foundational for renewal. Consistently, Charles emphasized that church reform must come from the holiness of clergy and the engagement of the laity, not just from legal or structural change. He sold his family's property to help the poor, walked night after night among the sick, visited prisons, and challenged corruption, but always as a brother among brothers. He died at Milan on November 3, 1584, at age 46, and was canonized in 1610. His legacy invites us today to fidelity, to reform in our personal and communal lives, to love of the liturgy, and to humble service. Application for our time. Deepen our love of the Mass and Eucharist, as Charles did. See the Eucharist as not just ritual, but the source and summit of Christian life. Commit ourselves to daily reform, whether in parish life, community, or personal habits. Embrace conversion and careful renewal. Embrace humble service. When the world exalts power, Charles reminds us that God exalts humility, closeness to the poor, and incarnate pastoral ministry.